Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I wish to call to order this meeting of the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. I will note for the record that currently Commissioner Jones and I are present in the Nat U. Hill room, and we hope that Commissioner Thomas will join us and take over in just a minute. We'll start today's meeting with our statement. We, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, renew our commitment to welcome and protect the rights of all people, regardless of age, race, color, creed, disability, sexual orientation, gender, gender identity, marital status, economic status, and national origin. And we affirm the right of every person to live peacefully and without fear. And we will fight and resist at every step discrimination and harmful policies, whatever their source. We also stand in support of our county public school systems, both RBB and MCCSC. And before we start with department updates, we do have a proclamation today. Commissioner Jones?
A proclamation in recognition of Parkinson's Awareness Month. Parkinson's disease, which affects up to approximately 20,000 people in Indiana and nearly 1 million people in the United States, is a chronic and progressive neurological disease caused by a lack of the chemical dopamine in the brain. And Parkinson's disease is the 14th leading cause of death in the United States and has an estimated annual cost of $51.9 billion per year, split evenly between medical costs and non-medical costs, such as lost wages and caregiver time and expenses. And whereas it is important to educate Hoosiers about the symptoms of Parkinson's disease, including tremors, rigidity, and bradykinesia, or slow movement, postural instability, shuffling gait, speech and swallowing disturbances, cognitive impairment, and dementia, and difficulty with fine-hand movements. And since not everyone with Parkinson's disease has all the associated symptoms, careful diagnosis is essential. And research suggests that the cause of Parkinson's disease is a combination of environmental and genetic factors, and currently there is no known cure or drug to slow or halt the progression of the disease.
And there currently is no objective test to diagnose Parkinson's disease, and available treatments are limited in their ability to address patients' medical needs and to remain effective over time. Volunteers, researchers, caregivers, and medical professionals are working to improve the quality of life of persons living with Parkinson's disease and their families. Increased research, education, and community support services are needed to find more effective treatments and to provide access to quality care to those living with the disease today. Now, therefore, we, the Monroe County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim our recognition of April as Parkinson's Disease Month in Monroe County and April 11, 2024 as Parkinson's Awareness Day in Monroe County. Proclaimed this 10th day of April 2024 by the Monroe County Board of Commissioners. And I want to acknowledge Liz Feidel and her support for and providing us with the information for this. Liz lost her husband Al recently to Parkinson's, and I know that she is a strong advocate for what needs to happen in the future. So at this point, we'll move on to department updates. Let's start with Ms. Kelly of the Health Department. Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Just a few updates. So local wastewater surveillance for COVID, RSV, and influenza from March 4th until April 4th show very low concentrations of all viruses. The Indiana Department of Health dashboard also shows continued decreases in COVID and influenza. Our public health clinic has vaccines available for all ages. They also provide wellness screenings and infant safe sleep education for free. You can call 812-353-3244 for more information.
Thank you. Questions or comments, Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
I would like to point out that today at the clinic, they received gun locks that are available free to the public. This is to help maintain safety within the home, and this was made available through monies from the American Rescue Plan Act. So this is a new addition to what we're able to do in terms of public health.
Great.
Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
Thank you.
Next on here is Martha Miller from our Soil and Water Conservation District. Good morning, Ms. Miller. It's nice to see you.
Good morning. It's good to be here. I gave an update last night at council, and so I'm like, how do I make this more interesting since I've already done a lot of this? But some of it's going to be repetitive, so if you've already heard it, listen to a podcast while I talk. First of all, I want to thank you all for the proclamation in advance of our 80th annual meeting, and it was a huge success. We had 71 people in attendance, and the speaker, Hunter Smith, is predominantly known, I think, by most people as a Super Bowl champion. We had him come because of his passion and love for small farms and agriculture and renewable agriculture as it moves into the future. His talk was amazing, but most people were really impressed with holding the Super Bowl ring. He passed it around. Everybody there got to take their pictures or see it, and that was really cool. Commissioner Thomas was there, and I think she enjoyed getting to see it as well. One thing that you have before you is a copy of our 80th annual meeting brochure, and in that we do some quoting of the original transcript for the actual formation of Soil and Water Conservation District in Monroe County. When we were prepping for this meeting, I started digging through a lot of old boxes and found the original transcript, And I was fascinated by what I found, and I wanted to share that with you and the public. In 1942, when the district really started trying to be formed, it was predominantly landowners in the Stanford area and the Bean Blossom area that pushed to get it established. During that hearing in 1943, it was open to the public, as all public hearings are for establishment of things, especially with it being state. What was really fascinating to me is that they actually requested 2 women in the audience to give testimony, and then they asked for a young FFA member to give testimony, and he deferred to the FFA president at the time. What really struck out and stood out the most to me, though, is that the issue's still the same. And one of the things in the booklet that really just kind of took me to another place was Monroe County residents and politicians have always been waymakers and role models across the state. The original founders of this conservation district were farmers, businessmen and women, wives, mothers, young adults, and people from all walks of life, and they came together because they saw and believed in a better Monroe County for future generations. That message is still the same today. And it just struck with me, For 1943, who would have thought? People just don't think about that, I don't think. So there was that. The other thing that really come out of all of that was that croplands were being washed away by the incredible amount of flooding that was happening then. Their argument in establishment of this district was, first of all, let's find a way to keep our cropland secure, but if it can't be cropland, then let's cover it up and make it into pasture. That was before they really understood a lot of what we talk about with soil health today. Secondly, if it couldn't be pasture and it was still washing away, then let's put it in forest because that'll secure the ground a little better. So their thought process was still the same 80 years ago that it is today. Keep the soil where it belongs. Now, in moving forward here, some of the things that we're getting ready to be into or are into because of what we do, there's a packet in front of you for a free soil testing. Any Monroe County resident, doesn't matter where they live, can get a free soil test through us right now because of the generous funding support of the Lake Monroe Water Fund and Community Foundation. So I have these. I have some extra ones with me if anybody in the audience would like one, or anybody up here. They're totally free. Normally they run people around $25 to $35 through us to do it, but till June you can get one free one. We also have decided, the board made a decision to bring back the selling of our repurposed rain barrels. We did this the last time probably 6 years ago or so. These are completely 100% food grade safe. That doesn't mean you can use the water to drink, but the barrels are food grade safe. They're recycled or repurposed by a company out of Chicago, and we'll be taking orders for those through mid-end of April. We will be at the garden fair this coming Saturday at Switchyard Park, and we will have a display set up where we'll have all this information. We'll also have the bags if anybody wants soil testing there. And we are partnering with Hoosier Hills FFA to promote and encourage their plant sale, which will be coming up at the end of May. And if things went as the students and advisor hoped, we were able to provide them with some free native seeds to start, so they should have some decent native plantings as well. And make sure I've got all my notes here. I think that's it. Oh, you have an updated business plan as well there. So that's it. Any questions?
Yes, I was wondering, for the free soil sample, should anyone using that be within the Lake Monroe watershed?
No. Originally, that was the target area, and we did that for about a year and didn't see the results that we had hoped. So the Community Foundation and Lake Monroe Water Fund opted to open it up. So it's actually open to any resident in Brown, Monroe, or Jackson County. Monroe County Soil and Water is processing all the samples through our office and our account with the lab. So, but no, we would really strongly encourage people in the Lake Monroe watershed to do it, but yeah, it's for anybody.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So they can call your number to get the soil sampling?
Yes, yep. They can stop by and see us at the garden fair. We'll have them, but we have these at our front desk, and they can just pick it up and take it, and then they can drop them back off, and then we get them to them. And they don't have to stop with one, but they have to pay for the others. So.
I'm sorry, I have another question.
Sure.
Do you know exactly what the soil is being tested for?
Yeah, I can do some of them off my memory. I don't have them with me. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, organic matter. There's 6 things, so I'm forgetting 2 of them. Basically, they're really random, or not random, they're really standard testing for the basic nutrients. And what we're looking at or hoping to understand is people who are treating yards, gardens, or even larger scale places will consider not treating as much when they realize they don't need that because their soil already holds that in capacity with. That's what we're hoping for.
Very good, thank you.
And we also got a packet of black-eyed Susan.
Yeah, the black-eyed Susans are, yeah. So, and I do have, I'm going to skedaddle because I got stuff to get done at the office, but I do have a few of these if anybody wants them. You want one? I kind of thought maybe. But we have several, so. I think that's it, unless anybody's got anything else.
No, thank you for coming
All right.
in and sharing
Thank
this
you.
today.
Y'all have a
to
good
see you.
day.
Thanks. Next we have Christine McAfee with probation. Morning.
Hello, good morning. As you said, I am Christine McAfee with probation, and I sent a couple of flyers later last week. There we go, perfect, thank you. So I'm here this morning to let our community know that with the JDAI initiative and the amazing support from the commissioners and the council, we are able to offer a couple of programs for community members. The one that you see in front of you is a partnership with PALS, which is People and Animal Learning Services out on the far west side. This is for an adult parent caretaker and a young person ages about 12 to 17. And this is a ground experience, so there's no riding, but it's really working with the innate nature of horses who, my understanding, I'm not a horse person, but my understanding is they're super perceptive to people and the energy and your mood and kind of what's happening with you, and they can be very empathetic, and they can help adults and young people start to identify emotions, start to realize when maybe they need to practice some self-regulation. What does that look like? How do I do that? It's a 12-session program. Last week when I sent you this, we had 10 spots available. Today I'm here to tell you that we are full, but we also have funding to do this in the fall, and fall being probably August. If anyone is interested in learning more about this opportunity, my contact number is on this flyer. You can reach me by email or by office number. Again, it is for a young person and an adult parent caretaker. They don't have to be system involved. We are working really hard to provide community resources that don't require involvement in the youth justice field. So if you have interest in learning more, I would love to talk to you about it.
Yeah, this is a wonderful program, and I hope the community will fully support it. It would be nice to see it expand a bit.
Yeah, you know, I was so pleasantly surprised at the interest that we have so far garnered. As I said, we had 10 spots when I sent this out last week, and by Monday we were full. So I think there's a lot of interest in this. As you know, JDAI loves to support community partnerships. So as long as the community says this is something we're interested in, we are more than interested in supporting it.
Well, I'd like to point out that this is being supported in part, at least, through the bonus money you've got.
Yes.
Because of the work that you've done.
Yes, because of the work the community has done, absolutely.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much for joining us and for sharing this information today.
Yep, I have one more, if I
Okay.
could quickly. We have 2 opportunities. The second one, I think there could be a flyer for that, but I'll go ahead and start talking.
It's there.
The second one is called the Parent Project. Yep, there you go, perfect. It's the manual the hospital forgot to give you. We have partnered with a local youth serving agency, Nancy Hughes, Family Solutions, and we are providing a parenting support program for those raising adolescents, again, between that 12 to 17 years of age. This is an educational, manualized, evidence-based program, but it also is designed to provide support to families. When parents are struggling with their kid, with raising children, sometimes it can feel pretty isolating. And part of this goal is to help parents know you're not alone. We do have resources available, and as a community, we want to support your efforts in raising your kids. We also know that 3 hours is a really long time for parents to be able to manage to get away from their families. And so as an incentive, we are offering a $20 gift card for every session participants attend. It's a Visa gift card, so there's no expectation or requirements on what that is spent on. It could do some, it could support transportation costs. It could buy dinner for your family if you're going to be gone, or something just nice for yourself if that's what you want to do. Again, it's a 10-week program. It is beginning April 24th. Yep, April 24th. And my contact number is on the flyer, and I would love to talk to people about this wonderful opportunity as well.
Comments, Commissioner Jones?
I'm always happy to see work done with families. I think that's something that's underappreciated.
Well, and I would like to note too that on your flyer it indicates that dinner will also be provided.
Heck yeah. JDAI world, we truly believe if you feed them, they show up, so.
Especially over the dinner hour, yes. Fabulous, fabulous news. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.
Great, thank you for the opportunity.
And I see that Mr. Laverty has his hand up also from our airport.
Greetings.
Morning.
Okay, got audio, great. Just wanted to give a little airport update about our Eclipse Day function. It was, we had a very, very busy day. It was interesting. We really weren't sure what was going on in town. We had arrived at the airport pretty early yesterday, and it was a busy day for the Monroe County Airport, but we kept texting because everybody was wondering if we were going to be able to get home. And it was interesting because there seemed to be quite the contrast between what was going on in the roads around the community in South Central Indiana and what was happening at the airport. We had we had over 100 transient aircraft arrive over the eclipse period. And it was quite the busy day because the bulk of those aircraft actually arrived between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. So it was very busy all at once. Things quieted down just before the eclipse. And about 2:20 is when the departures happened. And it was really amazing to watch that because there were some planes that were already at the airport before Monday. And within about 2.5, 3 hours, all 100 of our transient aircraft had departed. It was really something to see. And I had some pictures to share. I don't think the share screen is working, but that's okay. Well, I can try it really quick. It's not working. Here we go. It's not going to work, and I'm not going to try it. It's just going to slow everything down. But it was wonderful. We had a fantastic event. There were no abnormalities, no issues. The air traffic control tower, I want to commend those folks. They processed 200 operations in about the course of 4 hours. It was amazing to listen to, and as we get the audio recordings, I'm going to see if I can somehow put those online for people to hear what they were dealing with. It was amazing. Our two FBOs at the airport, Cook Aviation and BMG Jet Center, they worked together flawlessly. They got all those planes not just landed and parked, but fueled. And they ushered and helped support the customers that had come in. We had designated a viewing area on the grassy field at the airport that we kind of referred to as the park. So that was our viewing area to get people away from the movement of the aircraft. We had a food truck there. It was just a wonderful event, and I'm so very proud of the airport because for the Monroe County Airport, or actually, honestly, any other airport to handle that kind of influx in such a short period of time with really just one main runway that was operating was truly phenomenal. So I'm very proud of the airport and all of our airport partners. And I don't want to forget our volunteers from the Civil Air Patrol. And we had one actually also from the clerk's office. I believe her name was Laramie. She volunteered to come out and she worked some gate security for us. And so thank you very much to Laramie. That is all I have.
Well, I'd like to congratulate you on such a well-planned day for the eclipse. I happen to live a couple miles north of the airport and saw a lot of really interesting planes.
Yeah, the most interesting one I believe we had was, it was called a Boeing business jet. We refer to them as BBJs, and it's actually a Boeing 737 airliner that instead of having 150 seats on it, it has maybe 10 seats. It's quite luxurious, and they flew in at 10 o'clock and brought their 10 best friends and flew back out right after the eclipse. That was really interesting to see that.
Very good.
I saw your pictures last night and the short videos and watched those. I was amazed at the number of larger airplanes that came through.
Yeah, right. It was amazing where they came from. When the weather turned south last week on the forecast for the Texas region is weirdly when we saw the influx of the turbine-powered aircraft making reservations for elsewhere. So I think they intended to stay home, but yeah, it wasn't working out for them. So they were able to afford to come on out to Bloomington, and we were more than happy to have them. It was quite the day for the airport.
Well done by everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Is there any other department that has an update today? Morning, Mr. Kreider.
Commissioners. Richard Kreider, Facilities and Fleet. Monroe County, working with RQAW, put out bids for a cooling tower and freight elevator for the Monroe County Convention Center. The deadline for those bids was this morning at 9:45. They were received by County Legal, and Jeff Cockrell is going to open those for us this morning.
Yes, we received 4 bids. Is that better? Yeah, we received 4 bids. I think there are 2 different bid packets. So we'll see if they're all bid on both of them or not. So the first is from HFI, Mechanical and Building Solutions, and out of Bloomington, Indiana. And they had a bid for bid packet 2 of $471,471. They also had some bids for alternate 1 and 2. The second bid is from Heflin Industries. Again, out of Bloomington, Indiana. Yeah. Pretty sure they were. And their bid is for, again, for bid package 2, $471,000, plus they have bids for alternative 1 and alternative 2. The third bid is from American Elevator out of Anderson, Indiana. And they are bidding on bid package 1, which I assume is the elevator, for $147,500. And the final bid package is from Otis Elevator out of Indianapolis, Indiana. And their bid is for $237,859,000, and that is also for bid packet 1. I think at this point, I ask that you take this under advisement. We'll have Richard look through them and work with our office to just make sure they're all bid, all the documentation's there appropriately, and we'll bring you a recommendation hopefully in a week or 2.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have Mr. Grass with us here.
Commissioners, I have with me Transitional Team Director Corey Grass. I have an announcement to make for you regarding the RFP for the CMA, Monroe County Jail and Justice Facilities. A request for proposals was issued on March 8th and due on April 4th. There were 3 respondents: Weddle Garmon Smoot, the Skillman Corporation, and F.A. Wilhelm Taylor Brothers Construction. Jail Transitional Team Director Corey Grass and myself will be conducting interviews with the 3 firms in the Nat U. Hill Room on April 16th, beginning with Weddle Garmon Smoot at 9 a.m., followed by Skillman at 10 a.m., and finishing with Wilhelm Taylor Brothers at 11 a.m. The Nat U. Hill Room will be open to the public. We anticipate a formal recommendation of construction manager to the commissioners on April 24th. Do you all have any questions?
No, it's just exciting to see this actually moving forward.
Mr. Grass, any comments?
You did so well, we're good to go. All right. Second what he said. And I'm excited about the progress too. We are taking some giant steps here, so very happy about that.
It is a big step, yes. Thank you, and thank you for working on this.
Thank you.
Is there any other department with an update? I don't think we've ever had this many. Nice to see you, Mr. Gibbons.
I missed you guys. It's been so long since I saw you. I had to come in today. We wanted to give you an update because we had the jail inspection, and just give you a little bit as to what the inspector said about the facility itself. But real quick, some statistics. At the facility as it stands, we have 200 current inmates, 180 bed, or in our secure bed count, we have 169 males, 31 females. In the last 48 hours, we've had 12 bookings. In the last 48 hours, we've had 24 releases. We have 168 felonies and 25 misdemeanor right now. Some of the main charges that we currently have in our facility, too close apparently, is possession of controlled substance, domestic battery, criminal confinement, possession of methamphetamine, criminal recklessness, intimidation, and then your basic violations are parole, probation, failure to appear, stuff like that. Facility-wise, the jail inspectors gave us high marks as it pertains to cleanliness and operations. He stated that it's one of the cleanest facilities that he has in the state, which is a kudos to everybody that works in there, you guys, the council, everybody working together. He met with various members of the women's and men's dorms, and they spoke very highly of the culture change that came in. Again, a kudos to everybody involved in making that happen. And he said we satisfied our obligations as it pertains to the jail standards. So that is my update from the jail.
Comments or questions?
No, I don't.
I appreciate hearing this, and it's nice to be an outsider affirm what's going on in there. That's really good. Congratulations to you and everyone who works with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's really a huge team effort. So.
Well, and the last time you were here, you talked about the fact that you were fully staffed, and that is also very, very encouraging.
That is still the case. That is still the case. We have 6 part-time employees. We just interviewed 14 more applicants, so we're keeping things in the hopper in case we need it as well. So we're trying to stay ahead of it.
That's amazing. Kudos. Thank you.
Thank you
for being here. Okay, number 8 on my scorecard here.
Well, I'm getting last. I guess it's better being first. So, just real quickly, just wanted to update you. You know, obviously, we had a major event here in the county here on Monday. Just a little bit of information. We had, I think the only thing we can say about the eclipse is that we planned for the worst, hope for the best, and that's what arrived here, is we had 0 issues in our arena of business with the eclipse. It was kind of odd, actually, for all of the planning that we did and all of the information and the intelligence we had gathered at how that this was going to pan out. But I think it has something that has to do with the messaging here. This county's been very strong about, you know, what this would bring and how the public can help us, and they stood up in a big way and did that. We stood on the jail roof and watched all of this unfold, and I was struck by the fact that people were down there walking. They were in all different little corners watching, and it just seemed to be a pretty happy event for everybody. We heard the cheers go up when totality was hit. We heard the cheers go up when the first peak came back out. So it was an event that I think we had to plan for the worst case scenario, and I'm just really, really excited to tell you that we had no issues there. As a matter of fact, I gathered a few statistics, and we went back about a month or so and looked at the previous Mondays from a 6 a.m. to a 6 p.m. period, a 24-hour period. We looked at our call volume, And our call volume actually for Eclipse Day was well below what the previous time periods for those Mondays were. So I don't even, if I remember correctly, I don't have the stats, so give me a little bit of latitude here. I don't think we had anybody even brought into the facility until well after the eclipse had done its thing and passed on. So to give you an example of how well that actually went, we started with our staffing from about 1 o'clock in the morning till about, about 6 o'clock in the morning till about 1 in the afternoon. We had 24 deputies out during that time period. From 1 o'clock to about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we had bumped that up to 37. From 4 o'clock on, we dropped down to our normal staffing levels at 7. So we were able to dispatch those folks back to their residences and cut down our staffing to normal staffing levels within 1 hour of the eclipse. So just big kudos to Monroe County and the people that came here, and that entire event went off without a hitch. And I got to shout out to our partners here in law enforcement and fire and the county at the EEOC. They welcomed us in. That's where we staffed our command center, and everything went as smooth as it could possibly have went. Any questions?
Well done.
That's very, very well done, and thank you for all the planning. This didn't come off without all the hard work that went on before.
It's been about a year and a half of meetings pretty regularly about this event. So.
Yeah, and our emergency management team was part of all this too. I want to acknowledge them. How many of the staff that you talked about that were out on the roads or came in to help, how many of those were the reserve deputies?
We had some reserves. I don't have the exact number, but I'm going to guess maybe 5 or 6 reserves officers were out there, or at least staged to help in the event we needed some additional manpower. But fortunately, we never had to tap that resource. So.
Very nice, very nice. I want to thank the reserves also, because they do a lot in terms of volunteering to help our community.
Yes.
They really do. Well, thank you for coming in and sharing this with us.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Is there anyone else any other department that has an update? If not, let's move on to public comment. This is for items that are not on the agenda. We ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes, and if you wish to share something with us, please state your name and whether or not you're a Monroe County resident. That's both in person and on Teams. Seeing none, let's move on to the next item on our agenda.
Move approval of the minutes for March 27th, 2024.
I'll second that. Did you have any comments or corrections?
No, I don't.
I didn't either, so call for a vote. All those in favor of approving the minutes from March 27th, 2024 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Next item, please.
Move approval of the claims docket, accounts payable April 10th, 2024, and payroll April 5th.
I'll second that, and we have our auditor here. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Commissioners. The accounts payable claims docket for today, April 10th, 2024, totals $3,274,586. The payroll docket for April 5th, 2024 includes $1,475,741.45 in direct costs, and the remaining $628,695.99 for indirect costs, for a grand total of $2,104,437.44. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments? I will note that when we have things like our jail fully staffed, that increases our payroll costs, but that's a good problem to have. Very good problem. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote on the approval of the claims docket, accounts payable April 10th, 2024, and payroll for April 5th, 2024. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Next item, please. Oh, wait a minute, sorry. We did have a report from Weights and Measures that covered the period from February 16th through March 15th, 2024. And I'm sad to report that this will probably be the last report like this that we get from Mr. Souders. He has just been so thorough, so meticulous with everything he has done. And I'm really sad that he's moving on to something else because I really appreciate reading what he does, and it's given me a great appreciation for sort of the little things that we all assume somebody's taking care of, but we don't know who. So thank you, Mr. Souder. So now we'll move on to new business.
Move approval of a court-appointed special advocates grants, or CASA, fund name GAL/CASA, fund number 1213, in the amount of $83,738.
I'll second that, and we have Ms. Gregory here to talk with us about this.
The department is just requesting approval of the 2024 matching grant and capacity grant. They were applied for and awarded. All grant payments will be issued to Monroe County CASA through Monroe County. We're the pass-through. So the county's match portion of $214,500 is appropriated and be expended out of Fund 1114. So per CASA, the application and award letter are considered the contract, so we won't receive any official contract. This is just requesting your approval of that grant, the two grants.
Questions or comments? The guardian ad litem often comes into play when we don't have enough CASA volunteers, and so those volunteers actually make a difference in people's lives, but they save taxpayers dollars. So we really appreciate the CASA work that's done here. And I know that at least one county employee who is also a CASA volunteer, and so I want to applaud her work as well. Is there any public comment or questions on this item? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote on the court-appointed special advocates or CASA grants. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 2-0. Next item.
Move approval of an amended community kitchen MOU, fund name ARPA, fund number 8950, in the amount of $400,000.
I'll second that, and I don't know if it's Ms. Gregory or Mr. Cockrell who's going to be talking to us about this.
I can handle this. We did an agreement with the community kitchen. This does not affect the amount of funding they are going to get out of ARPA. It's just when the auditor staff working with Baker Tilly reviewed some of the documentations, that number of 446,015.21, they calculated to be like 441,000. And so instead of trying to figure out the discrepancies and then make the amendment to the contract, our concern was to making sure it was over 400,000 because that is what we have granted to them, and this is how that was going to work. So we just put in the over 400,000 so that it's reflected in our documentation is accurate.
So that the amount isn't 400,000, it is over 400,000? Is that the way it should be stipulated?
It's over 400,000. Our grant is for 400,000. So we just needed them to demonstrate that amount within that line, and they've exceeded that. It's just a matter of how much they exceeded it between either 46,000 or 41,000. And so we're just changing this to over 400,000 so that our documents reflect accurately what is factually true.
Thank you. Comments or questions?
No, I don't.
Is there any public comment, questions? Thank you for bringing this to us. At this point then, I'll call for a vote on the amended community kitchen MOU. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Next item, please.
Move approval of Resolution 2024-09, Emergency Management and Highway Surplus Property.
I'll second, and we have Ms. Gregory.
Morning again. I'm actually request that this item be tabled until the next meeting, if that's possible. I have been communicating with Mr. Kreider, who was in contact with Emergency Management, who the radios belong to Emergency Management, and they've since found that some may still be in use. So we're going to rework the resolution, remove the radios, and I'll come back to you with just the highway infrastructure that needs to be retired.
Okay, so I move that we continue this until April 17th, 2024. Is there any comment? Take comment on that? If not, call for a vote to continue resolution 2024-09 until April the 17th, 2024. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0. See you next week on that then. Thank you. Next item.
Move approval of ratification of Title 10 Services Amendment, Fund Name, Futures, Title 10, Fund Number 8126, in the amount of $50,000.
I'll second that, and we have Ms. Kelly back with this.
Yes, this is just an amendment to the original Title 10 grant award. This grant cycle did end March 31st of 2024, but this additional funding will just help to essentially cover what we have been short during that grant cycle period.
Thank you. Any comments or questions?
No, I don't.
I don't either. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote on ratification of Title 10 Services Amendment. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Next item. Thank you, Ms. Kelly.
Move approval of Apex Benefits Business Associates Agreement, Fund Name, Self-Insurance, Fund Number 4700.
I'll second that, and we have Ms. Purdy here to talk with us.
Yes, good morning. This is actually kind of more of housekeeping in that this is an agreement that we have with Apex Benefits specific to HIPAA-covered entities and ensuring the protection of our private health information. And so this agreement outlines the requirements for sharing private health information between Monroe County government and Apex Benefits, tracking and sending the data, and how everyone is going to be notified regarding security breaches and any other responsibilities that may occur because we do share confidential health information.
Thank you. Comments or questions?
No, I don't.
I appreciate the fact that you're going another layer deeper on protection. I really do. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote on Apex Benefits Business Associates Agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Next item.
Move approval of a prosecutor's agreement with Rich Hansen, Fund Name, County General, Fund Number 1000, in the amount of $10,000.
I'll second that, and we have Ms. Turner-Keene with us. Good morning. It's nice to see you.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm presenting this on behalf of the prosecutor who's currently at a conference. The proposed agreement before you is an agreement between the prosecutor's office and Rich Hansen, who is an attorney with 20 years of criminal experience and was the former juvenile prosecutor. It would secure his services to provide 250 hours of instruction at the Indiana Police Academy. As background, the IU Police Academy serves as a satellite academy for Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, so it allows mostly the cadets there to get the same type of training that they would if they went to the academy in Plainfield. It provides 600 hours of education and about 90 different topics pertaining to law enforcement, including investigations, procedures, federal and state federal and state law, individual rights. They do a mock trial scenario for the cadets, which allows them to get familiarity with the courtroom and kind of get a testifying experience before they actually have to testify. And the prosecutor's office has historically been involved in this level of instruction, which is beneficial because it allows the participants of the academy not only to develop and maintain an understanding of criminal law, but it also provides them an understanding of how our local office works. So, you know, when you get a case, how does it process through this office? This is beneficial because a lot of the cadets who graduate IU Police Academy also then continue their careers either at BPD or the Sheriff's Office. So this agreement secures Mr. Hansen's instruction for the Academy. He has done it in the past, he's been instrumental in it, and they would just like to continue doing such.
Thank you. Comments, questions?
That does sound quite valuable.
I appreciate the fact that Mr. Hansen's willing to continue to provide this as a service to the community, it sounds like. Is there public comment on this? Did you have something else you wanted to add?
Me?
Commissioner?
No,
Okay.
I didn't.
All right. Seeing none, we'll call for a vote on the prosecutor agreement with Rich Hansen. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Next item.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Move approval of Elite Electric for jail office data lines, fund name Cumulative Capital, fund number 1138, in the amount of $2,035.
I'll second that. We have Mr. Crowan here with us from TST.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everybody survived the eclipse. Got a deadline for them. So, this one's pretty straightforward. Some of this office space currently being used by supervisory staff at the jail command on the fourth floor of the jail is being repurposed for some inmate services group that they're bringing in, which means we have to relocate that supervisor's office to another area. We are running low on office space. They don't have a bunch of available rooms, so the space that the supervisor is being moved into was previously storage, so it only had electrical, no Ethernet connections in that room at all. So this agreement is to have Elite Electric come in and run 2 data runs, one dedicated for a PC, the other dedicated for a phone, through EMT conduit. Since this passes through common areas accessible to inmates, we can't have exposed wiring, so this is going to be encased in EMT metal conduit. Elite Electric will do all the work with the exception of terminating the connections at both ends. That'll be the responsibility of my office, but all data jacks and associated plates that go with it will be provided for Elite. And this is a one-time cost of $2,035.
Comments or questions?
No, I don't.
When I was reading through things, I was like, they found any space at all in the jail to do something?
Not anymore. They're going to start putting folks on the roof.
Insulated tents or something?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, very good. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote on Elite Electric for the jail office, contract with Elite Electric for the jail office data lines. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Thank you, Mr. Crone.
Thank you very much.
Next item.
Move approval of an NDOT letter of understanding for an unofficial detour due to a closure of State Road 48.
I'll second, and we have Ms. Ridge.
Good morning.
Morning.
This is probably one of the most unfavorable items on here. So NDOT will be closing State Road 48 a mile and a half east of State Road 43 for a bridge deck overlay. It is to close around May 1st and be closed for approximately 70 days, which is around August 1st. They do post an official detour route, which is State Road 43, State Road 46, I-69, and State Road 48. However, not everybody uses the official detour route, so the unofficial detour route will be Vernal Pike and Ord Road. NDOT agrees to reimburse Monroe County for the cost related to damage repair on the listed unofficial detour route. So this is the agreement for that.
Thank you. Commissioner Jones.
Yeah, I'm curious, isn't that part of Vernal Pike that was just repaved?
So actually, the Vernal Pike that they're using is the part that we have in our community crossing award, or a community crossing application, which actually was awarded at 10 a.m. this morning. We just found out about the road closure with 48, maybe 3 weeks ago, a month ago. We've been going back and forth. We have crews out there preparing Ord Road to go ahead and use our budget to pave that section of Ord Road, just because we know it's really rough and people are going to use that even though it's not the official detour route. But we were unable to award or do anything with the bids that we opened last week for that section of Vernal Pike because the CCMG awards had not been announced until this morning. So we're trying to coincide it all together and possibly go ahead and pave the Vernal Pike during this time, just so it's not, it's in bad condition, so that's why we chose to pave it. So we were trying to coordinate both of them, and in my work session is actually awarding the Ord Road project to actually be paved next week to beat that May 1st deadline, so.
Wow. Wow. So if I were going from downtown out to Ellettsville also, which would be impacted by that, I would probably go out Arlington Road. So if there's any damage to Arlington Road, will we also be reimbursed from the state on that?
So the State Road 48 to 43, I would say most would be going to Owen County and going 43 that way. If you're going downtown and going 46, I don't think it'll be affected as much as like I-69 and then the cut through of Vernal Pike Ord Road. Of course, you do have the State Road 45, 46 bypass that went under construction yesterday. And I think that lasts for over a year. So a lot of that traffic will probably be using that Arlington Road.
Okay. And later I would like to hear more about the community crossing grant that you got. So thank you. Is there any public comment on this item? Seeing none, call for a vote on NDOT letter of understanding and official detour for the closure of State Route 48. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Next item.
Move approval of Signal Construction Company extension of service agreement, fund names, County General and Motor Vehicle Highway, fund numbers 1,000 and 1176. And no amount, the amount is listed in the agreement.
I'll second. Ms. Ridge again.
So this is just basically to extend that service agreement. The Highway Department uses Signal Construction for on-call services for repairs to our traffic signals. And then the Parks Department also uses it for their flashing beacons and high-intensity activated crosswalk, is also known as a hawk signal, for pedestrians. And they use it as an on-call basis. The original contract spells out that each department is responsible for their own expenses paid out of their own budgets. And this would extend the contract to May 2025.
Very good. Comments or questions?
No, I don't.
I don't either. It seemed very straightforward reading through all this. Is there any public comment? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote on the Signal Construction Company extension of service agreement. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Thank you, Ms. Ridge. Next item, please.
Move approval of ordinance 2024-13, Taylor rezone.
I'll second, and we have Mr. Myers with us from the Planning Department. Good morning, Drew.
Good morning. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, let me share screen here. All right. This is the Taylor rezone from RE1 to LI. This is one parcel. It's 9.08 acres in Van Buren Township, Section 3. It's located at 6610 West State Road 48. And the owner is Bryan Rental Incorporated, and the applicant petitioner is Dusty Taylor of Taycon Construction. So the request is to amend the zoning map for 6610 West State Road 48 from RE1 to LI, or Estate Residential 1 to Light Industrial. The petitioner intends to rezone this property to establish a business center, business/industrial center on the property to operate the use of a general contractor with heavy machinery sales. A use determination was performed for this property upon the petitioner's request, and their description aligned with both of these uses occurring at the same time, which would trigger the need for a business/industrial center. From the petitioner, he stated, wanted to build a shop to house equipment and have a parking lot to park equipment in to rent or sell equipment out of. We also provide services as excavating and hauling. In communications with the petitioner, it was stated that the equipment that they'll be selling or renting isn't like your typical large-scale equipment like dozers or anything like that, but more or less attachments to those types of equipment. And I'm sure the petitioner can speak more on the specifics of their business plan as well. There's also a letter from the petitioner in the staff packet. So the petitioner is the owner of the existing business named Taycon, which describes itself as excavation specialist serving Bloomington and South Central Indiana. Having both uses of general contract and heavy machinery sales, as I stated, would require the land use classification of a business/industrial center, which would be permitted in the LI zone. Here's the location map. That hatching you see there is the airport noise sensitivity area. And it is an area that the airport director has stated that they are expecting no more residential development to occur in that noise sensitive area, but commercial activity is fine. So here I included the definitions of the uses that we've been talking about. We have general contractor, heavy machine sales, and business or industrial center. Again, these are included in the packet as well. And then here we have the descriptions of the two districts here, State Residential 1 and Light Industrial. Here's the current zoning. State Residential 1, the light green. We have RE 2.5 to the south and the airport to the southeast. A small polygon of general business to the northeast, an agricultural reserve there as well to the northeast and north. And then ME stands for mineral extraction. There is an active quarry operation to the north of the site here. The Monroe County Comprehensive Plan is designated as rural transition. And here are the site conditions. On the map, you'll note that there are several expected sinkhole or karst features located on the property. The MS4 coordinator has reviewed the preliminary plans for this project and stated that the property is located in the Cave Creek critical watershed, and that development of the site will require a drainage plan that complies with Monroe County Code Chapter 761 and official watershed release rates. And additional water quality treatment measures can be required based on the proposed use. And she added a recommendation that a karst report be submitted before or during site plan review. Excuse me. I have some aerial imagery here of the site. It's currently mostly wooded. There is a small residence on the property that I do believe is vacant. You can see the quarry operation to the north here, and then the airport to the south down here. Here we have the letter from the petitioner stating their request, as well as the consent letter from the current owners. And here we have the preliminary plans. These are just very much of a draft of what's expected by the petitioner. So they have two phases of development here. Phase 1 being on the right side of the screen or the east side of the property, a potential build site for a structure and gates as well. And the configuration you see is trying to accommodate the existing sinkhole features. So Monroe County Zoning Ordinance does have a chapter 829, that does protect karst and sinkhole features. It does provide buffering within sinkhole conservancy areas. So we will be taking a close look at those during the commercial site plan review process. We also have letters of support. These were provided during the Plan Commission hearing. And these are just signatures of support that were provided to the petitioner. Here we have the current uses for the RE1 district. As you'll note, they're fairly limited. P stands for permitted and a C stands for conditional, meaning that it has to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals for review. And here we have the use table for the light industrial zoning district. So a lot more uses here that you'll note. Business or industrial center is down here in the bottom right-hand corner with multi-use. It is considered a high-intensity use, and it is permitted in the light industrial district, as is heavy machine sales and general contractor. So planning staff provided a positive recommendation to the Plan Commission, and that was in February, which was then forwarded to that body then forwarded this petition to the Board of Commissioners with a positive recommendation by a vote of 8-0, with one condition of approval. One, the petitioner submit a karst report for review by the MS4 coordinator prior to site plan approval. I'll now take any questions.
Yes, when I was looking at the places where the petition does and doesn't match the plan, at one point where it says open space to protect environmentally sensitive features as development occurs has been highlighted in gray. So is it expected that there will be disturbance of sensitive features?
Yes, so I added that in gray because of the conditions of the site, being that it is fairly tricky to make sure that we meet the buffering requirements of the site with respect to the karst and sinkhole features. But being that there is a condition of approval for a karst report during the site plan review process, I am confident that working with the petitioner and the stormwater team, that we'll be able to minimize any disturbance at all to those features, given that they are to be protected via Chapter 829.
Okay, thank you.
At this point, I would like to just hear from the petitioners. Mr. Cockrell, I may need some coaching again on what to do. We hear from them and then we open it up as a hearing, is that correct?
Yes, you open up as a hearing and you have 15 minutes for people who are in approval of this, and then 15 minutes for people who are not, each limited to 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. So please sign in and then state your name as you go to speak.
I'm Dusty Taylor, owner of Take On.
Hi, Mr. Taylor.
Hi, I'm Eric Kamen with Bryan Rental Inc., and this is David Kamen. And
welcome.
We're both the owners. Am I allowed to give you guys anything? Like, we have sheets? Okay, cool.
Should I sign in? I'm not going to be speaking, but I can sign in. Your owners.
It's just our site plan. You already saw it, but we just wanted you guys to have it. And then it's also all of the signatures we got from the neighbors.
Thank you.
Nice.
I got it just in time. So did you have some questions? What was...
I don't have any questions about what was presented. If there's other, in addition to what was handed to us, is there anything else that you would like to say in support of your petition?
Grew up right there on the west side of the airport all my life. My family has owned and operated excavating business
since long before my time. My son will be a fourth generation, so we're native to the area. I currently run out of my grandfather's place because we're grandfathered in. I would like to abide by the county's rules and regulation and actually have a business property that's zoned correctly for what I'm trying to do. I don't want to grow up big. I stay pretty family oriented, you know, not hiring a slew of people, but I want to keep everything pretty tight. That's close to my home, and there's an airport right there they don't want anybody living there. You got the quarry behind you, and there's a huge shelf back there. I've talked to all the residents around there, which I know several of them because I've grown up there all my life. Everybody was supportive of what I was trying to do, so I'd like to build me a shop there so I could house my equipment and rent attachments for skid steers, you know, and in the winter when things get slow, we work on equipment there. We will repair equipment and to where I will sell something, get something different. So I want to be able to sell there, but not like a used car lot, you know, so.
Yeah, maybe I should add to that. You know, I think, I hope everybody's, you know, driven by this site, and it is an eyesore. It doesn't look great. And, you know, having Dusty build his business around here would, you know, really just change that whole entire corner. You know, it's the entrance to Rogers Group. There's a ton of traffic flow, and, you know, it would be very nice for Dusty to come in and start, you know, refreshing that corner. And, you know, he's our excavator, he's also our friend, and he also is getting his pilot's license across the street, so, you know, I think it's all in one, and, you know, we think he's going to do good things over here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
With pending of the approval, I would work with get the site plan to make sure that we avoid all cars features and everything during this process. And, you know, that preliminary site plan can easily be altered once we get all the studies done and everything, but I just don't want to fork out all that until I can even know that we can proceed with it, so.
It's reasonable. Questions or comments? Commissioner Jones?
Well, this is probably a great use of this land. I think it's really sad that so many trees apparently will be lost, but they probably would eventually anyway. And
one thing I'll add to that is that the airport has had to trim those trees twice in my lifetime due to the ceiling level of planes coming in and out.
Yeah.
For one, and for two, if you come out Ord Road and look west, you have to pull way up to see because it is overgrowing out towards the highway and creating a blind spot.
Yeah.
So and there is a slew of dump trucks that come in and out of there. And so, I mean, I think it would help and benefit that too and really clean it up, so.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, do you also work on agricultural equipment?
We don't do much with agriculture at all, other than lawn seeding and installation of new grass. That's about as agriculture as we get. So mainly just civil work, site work, water, sewer, utility, drainage, retention ponds. I do a lot of site work in Monroe, for Monroe, and for the city of Bloomington. I've done for everything. So.
Thank you.
Welcome.
And what are the plans for the existing house that's on the property?
There's one existing house.
Right.
That will be, pending approval in the site plan, that will be done away with in the future, and then a new building put in with a couple little offices in there.
Okay, thank you.
So.
Very good. Well, at this point, I'd like to open the hearing. Is this the correct? Wait, okay. And we have 15 minutes for anyone who wants to speak in favor of the petition. And if you do, please state your name, and you have 3 minutes to speak. You can rest for a few minutes if you want. And that includes people who are online.
I would move to people who
Okay, and seeing no one who's here to speak in favor of the petition, I'll move to those who wish to speak against the petition. Same thing, there's a 15-minute total time limit, and each person who wishes to speak has a 3-minute limit. This is for people both present in the Nat U Hill room and online or virtual. Seeing none, we'll call a close to the hearing. And this is where I need some coaching.
Close the hearing. They have a chance to rebut anything that was said, which I'm guessing wouldn't take long. And then after that, you would move to, or you would vote on.
Okay, well, is there anything else you wish to add to this?
No, there isn't.
I agree with Commissioner Jones that I think this is a good use of this property. So at this point, I will call for a vote on ordinance 2024-13, the Taylor rezone. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Thank you for coming in today and waiting for so long. Thank you very much. Next item.
Oops. Move approval of ordinance 2024-17, Hopkins rezone.
I'll second, and we have Ms. Crecilius from the Planning Department with us. Good morning.
Good morning. Please let me know, can you see my slides?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so this is a rezone request for a property off of Old State Road 37. So it's 7540 South Old State Road 37. It is located in Clear Creek Township, Section 8. The petition site is one lot of record made up of 3 parcels. It totals 7.1 acres together. So the petition site is currently zoned, it's split zoned, Agricultural Rural Reserve, or AG-RR, and Suburban Residential, or SR. The property is located within the Rural Residential Zoning District of the Comprehensive Plan. And as you can see, all of the properties adjacent are also considered rural residential. The site is mainly flat, so slopes under 15% as we can see. The property is currently developed with a single-family residential home and 1 accessory structure. So the petitioner has filed a 3-lot administrative Type E subdivision to reconfigure the petition site and 2 adjoining properties. They are proposing this, so this is what they've applied with. And under the zoning ordinance, we cannot create what is shown as Lot 2 in its current configuration split zoned. So they could adjust their lot lines, or they could request a rezone. They have chosen to pursue this rezone. They state due to the natural terrain of the land, there's an old line of evergreen trees, that it's sensible to them that this feels kind of like Lot 2. And I have some good examples that shows overall what's happening with this administrative subdivision. So to remain split zoned, so as is the Lot 2, the proposed lot would need to meet the AG-RR minimum lot size, which is 2.5 acres. So currently they're proposing Lot 2 as being 1.39 acres. So this rezone request is for the one area of Lot 2 that is currently zoned AG-RR. So the rezone request is only for 0.62 acres of Lot 2. So this zooms in a little bit. This shows us Lot 2 and how it's split zoned and the locations of the current structures. So here is the proposed Lot 2, just overlaid on aerial imagery. So we can kind of see that lot configuration that what they want and those evergreen trees I was talking about. So what they're proposing, if this is approved, is that Lot 2 would be fully zoned suburban residential. So jump back to some aerial imagery. This is the current configuration of the property. So our petition site is Lot 2, and Lot 1 and Lot 3 are the properties involved with this administrative subdivision located to the north. Here it is, the current existing property lines with the zoning. So we can see that the petition site is already split zoned, suburban residential and ag RR. So here is an example of that area of their proposed lot lines and the current split zoning. So the area highlighted in yellow is the area that's technically not feasible that they're wanting to rezone. And this is what they're proposing. This would comply with the zoning ordinance. And then I just wanted to address, in this administrative subdivision, we do see 3 other areas adjacent that are split zoned. These are areas that we would address under the CDO, so the future zoning ordinance. So to just run through some photos of the petition site. This is the existing residential home on the site. This is the existing driveway off of Old State Road 37. So kind of a view of the back of the house. This is just part of the back of the yard. So here's the backyard of that Lot 2. And this is starting to get into the area that's zoned Ag RR that would need to be rezoned. So here we can kind of see that line of evergreen trees that shows, kind of illustrates there's kind of a natural boundary area. So just west of those evergreen trees, now we're looking at that proposed Lot 1 in the back where the petitioner is hoping to build a new home. So the petitioner owns this property. It was determined that the property was one lot of record. So using other properties to the north, they would like to adjust those lot lines so that they could build a new home for themselves. So this would be that area. And my lighting just went out for some reason. So now I'm sitting in pitch black. Okay. So looking off of Old State Road 37, there are adjacent, these are the 2 properties to the north. So we're looking at the driveway to the church, Souls Harbor, which is one of the properties involved with the administrative subdivision. And then the gravel driveway is an existing driveway from that small northern property. So this is one of the northern properties that's involved in the administrative subdivision. So they're under the rezone, the Highway Department project engineer, Ben Ayers, did request that there were right-of-way activity permits submitted for all 3 of the lots that would be involved in the administrative subdivision. So under the rezone, they were requesting right-of-way activity permits. Those have been submitted. One of them was denied due to driveway spacing. The petitioner is going to work with the Highway Department. I believe they've filed an appeal because they're wanting to keep all 3 driveways. For this rezone, planning staff really feels that this is kind of an issue that could be worked out with the Highway Department no matter what, and that we don't necessarily see this as great of a concern that would hold this petition back. So we've included this as a condition of approval under our recommendation. So the Plan Commission heard this, and they forwarded a positive recommendation of a vote of 8-0. They did tweak one of the conditions just a little bit, and I'll emphasize that in a second. So they did forward a positive recommendation. So staff's recommendation, we recommend approving the rezone request from Ag RR to suburban residential for the 0.62 acres based on the findings of fact with the following conditions. Number 1, receive approved right-of-way activity permits from the County Highway Department as necessary, which is the tweak by the Plan Commission. And also, number 2, record the administrative subdivision SAD 24-3. So this rezone would only go into effect with the recording of the administrative subdivision. Does anybody have any questions?
No, I don't think I do. It's a bit complicated.
Yeah, it is. And I was at the highway hearing for the driveway issues, so I've heard about this from another side, and that hasn't been resolved at this point. So we'll have to be working on that. But at this point, I don't have any questions at this point, but if the petitioner is here and wishes to speak, please come forward, state your name and sign in. Or if you're available virtually.
I'm here. I don't
Okay. I'll note for the record that the petitioner is here. I'm just stating it so that it gets recorded and doesn't have anything additional to add to the petition. With that, I'll then open the hearing on this rezone petition. Again, we'll allow anyone who wishes to speak in favor of it to come forward. You have a total of 15, there's a total of 15 minutes for those who wish to speak in favor, with a 3-minute time limit for each speaker. Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the hearing and we'll go to anyone who is against the approval of this rezone. Same conditions. Seeing none, we'll close that part of the hearing. And is there anything else you wish to add or ask about at this point, Commissioner Jones?
No, there isn't.
I don't either. I think that this is really reasonable, that we need just a single type of zoning for this lot. And so with that, I'll call for a vote on ordinance 2024-17, the Hopkins rezone. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes 2-0. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Crecilius, for your hard work. Okay, with that, that's the end of our regular business. We have no appointments. In terms of announcements, first of all, I want to thank everyone for their cooperation on Eclipse Day. That was quite amazing to hear the report from the Sheriff's Office that there were fewer incidences in terms of issues during that time. I'll remind everyone that you can vote early at Election Operations, 302 South Walnut Street. During weekdays, they are open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Beginning Saturday, April the 27th, you can vote from 9 till 4, and again on Saturday, May the 4th. Then early voting will end at noon on May the 6th, with Election Day for the primary on April 7th. You can also apply to vote absentee by mail, but that will end, I believe you have to have your application for that in by April the 25th, by the close of business, basically. There is free COVID testing available at the County Health Department at 119 West 7th Street, as well as at the Monroe County Public Health Clinic at 333 East Miller Drive. We are still accepting applications for boards and commissioners. I will remind the public that we hold 6 virtual office hours each month. You can get onto the website at co.monroe.in.us, click on the calendar, and you can see when someone is available to speak with you. There are still blood drives. The next one is Thursday, May the 9th from 1 to 6, and Friday, May the 10th from 10 to 2 at Ivy Tech, Shreve Hall. And we thank both the folks at Ivy Tech and Red Cross for working with us on this. Now that the eclipse is passed, if there were people that realized that they maybe wished they were on the Monroe County Alert Notification System, you can join again by going to our website. And a reminder that we have extended the assistance fund for county residents in need of assistance in paying for their rent or utilities. You can contact your township trustee for that. And we also have initiated a rural housing repair program, and we're now accepting applications from low and moderate Monroe County homeowners. You can contact your township trustee for information on that, unless you live in the non-urbanized portion of Perry Township, in which case you need to contact our office. And Ms. Purdy, can you remind folks of how they would do that? Sorry to put you on the spot, but it's in your brain better than it's in mine, I'm sure.
They just need to contact our office. Either you can call at the 812-349-2550, or you can email Commissioner's Office at co.monroe.in.us. Make sure you put rural repair in the subject line, and we will reach out to you and get the information to you and make sure that we can get you taken care of.
Thank you. And I will remind folks that we do have our broadband challenge going on. That will end shortly. So if you have not started the challenge, I urge you to go onto the website, look for the information about what to do and how to submit information. It will require that you do a speed test in 3 consecutive days in terms of your download and upload speeds, but there's information on how to do that again at our website, co.monroe.in.us. Do you have anything to add, Commissioner Jones?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, with that, we are adjourned. We will return on April the 17th, 2024, here in the Nat U. Hill room. What? Well, it's 10:35. If we come back at 10:45, will that work for everybody? 11:30. Do not, I haven't slept much in the last few nights, sorry, at 11:45. Thank you, I need the support of you guys.